For several years, a collaborative team of composers, musicians, artists, performers, and historians have recreated the immersive experience of a Magic Lantern show for contemporary audiences. As part of the project, Heritage in the Limelight, we've developed live performances physically combining new creative elements with actual historical Magic Lanterns and actual historical glass slides. In Magic Lantern shows, audiences sat shoulder to shoulder in the dark and collectively experienced visual and oral effects as transforming images interacted with voice and music. This ubiquitous apparatus formed a fundamental archaeological substratum to the special effects of today's media spaces. Magic Lantern shows were performative bricolage. Every Magic Lantern show was different as the lanternists slightly rearranged their slides, their timing, their speech, and their music for a specific audience. So our mantra has been, and this is my little kind of like go-to speech here, any Magic Lantern slide, no matter how humble, is material evidence. Therefore, the heritage of the Magic Lantern crosses over between the material and the performative. The material slides were linked, let's go back a bit, to site-specific audiences by the technology of the projecting lantern, manually activated by performers. Kurt Van Hout from the Belgium-based Magic Lantern research project Be Magic comments on what he calls the energy exchange. I love that phrase, energy exchange, between past and present, and between actors and spectators. This energy exchange, but also idea of revival, but it still has a contemporary dimension to it. We've invented several, as far as we know, entirely new techniques to add even more indeterminacy into our projections for the pleasure of our audience. Techniques such as these interact wonderfully with our performance collaborators who use loops, electronic distortion, and other vocal and instrumental techniques to create an effective response in the audience. Magic Lantern shows are intimate and dynamic performances which need flexible and live musical performers to help guide an audience through individual slide sequences, as well as an overall dramatic arc of the show as a whole. So we want to give the audience in the present something of the same effective experience audiences had in the past. Their emotional responses to witnessing distant events, their collective joy in experiencing musical laughter, their involuntary at an uncanny special effect. In short, the magic of the Magic Lantern. While a straight reenactment, where everything is done as closely as possible to how we think it might be done in the past, can replicate the basic historical form of a Magic Lantern show, it cannot generate a similar frisson in a contemporary audience. We are dealing with media archaeology, where the technologies which produced the laughter, tears, and gasps of 200 years ago still form the technical substrata of the technologies which produce laughter, tears, and gasps today. In terms of the media heritage, our work is perhaps most closely related to the live music which contemporary composers create to play with silent movies, which I also love. However, even in this instance, the cinematic apparatus of the film projector is automatic and hidden in the bio box, while the audience remains passive, whereas we operate the apparatus from within the audience itself and respond to audience reaction. For me, the tingle is an effect produced in the bodies of audiences by technological effects. It's a kind of surrender on the part of the audience to technological motivation. Therefore, generating tingles with a mixture of machines from the past and machines from the present is a way of transferring energy through time. And then reflecting on those tingles is a way of doing history. For that, there are new ways of doing heritage, which builds on all of the previous turns in heritage. There's a turn in heritage every 5 years. And this takes us from the architectural heritage, which is still the basis of the heritage industry worldwide, to material heritage, which is still the mainstay of museums, to the intangible heritage of rituals, recipes, and musical forms, which has been recently recognized by UNESCO, to what I would like to call experiential heritage, which allows people to share affective energies over time. As heritage practitioners, this demands a turn from just material preservation to apparatus thinking, again, another phrase I've made up, which interoperatively connects technologies and historical participants over time.
Would it be possible that Magic Lantern became successful again?
It never really went away. When I give these talks, I'm usually in a seminar room, and I usually point to the ceiling where there's a data projector, and I say that's a Magic Lantern. So in that sense, we are still with that experience of projection, which is some kind of fundamental human connection, this collectively sharing a projection